Hi everybody, this is your Professor Ian Jones. This is a shortish video that I'm shooting to talk us through the instructions for an assignment. It's either, depending on which course you're in, it's either called the Cultural Artifact Study Guide or the Central Text Study Guide. It's almost identical, the instructions. It's the same kind of project. It was the same project, just on a slightly different focus for you. So either one is fine. So let's just talk through it. So for your final paper, one of the things you're going to do is choose a central text that would replace the central text that we're studying in this course, right? So in that paper, you're going to make an argument about why people should study that central text, right? And you can choose whatever you want. Please refer to the instructions for essay number 4, right? Look at that. I recorded a video walking you through essay number 4. But this is talking us through the study guide portion of that, right? So this is a research paper, number 4. So when you do a research paper, you amass a bunch of resources, right? You find things that are relevant to your study and you put them together. So the study guide is to help us organize and curate that information in a different kind of way. In previous years, I've done something called an annotated bibliography, which you might have done before too. That's a more formal document where you you write it as a Word document or whatnot, like a typically MLA formulated document. You have an MLA entry and then a brief description of each of the sources you use in a research project. Annotated bibliographies are something that professionals use, that academics use to share resources, to share research with each other. So what we're doing with the study guide is a kind of different version of an annotated bibliography, hopefully a more fun version too. So with the study guide, this is a visual presentation of your resources and the approaches you're taking to your central text, to your cultural artifact. So what you should, again, you're imagining for essay number 4 that you're the professor redesigning this course. So for the study guide, you should imagine that you're teaching a lesson about this artifact, about this central text, right? So the example I keep using is the movie Get Out. So imagine you're using the movie Get Out as your central text for a course, and you need to teach this movie in class. So how would you do that as a professor? So for this, you're going to, for your study guide, you're going to include background information, related readings, and then some in-class exercises and activities that you might use for that central text, right? So literally, you're imagining your professor. What would you do in class if you had to lead a discussion on this text? Okay, so it's a visual argument or a visual assignment, I should say. This study guide. But that doesn't mean you have to be an artist to do well. I'm not expecting you to bust out the paints and do me some kick-ass paintings or the spray paint can and do some graffiti for me. It is a visual assignment. Visual rhetoric, visual presentation of ideas is an important skill, even for English students. So that's why I like to do this as well. We'll be using the platform Wakelet. So that's why in week 14, we're working with Wakelet. That's kind of a warm-up for this project. Basically, the study guide is doing the same thing you did with your Wakelet project and then expanding, doing a little bit more. It should look very close to your Wakelet project, just bigger, right? So just like your Wakelet project for week 14, everything you post, when you post like a related reading or a review or something, any resource, you need to post a brief summary and explanation of why you posted this. This goes for your in-class activities as well. If you have discussion questions, you need to post a little brief summary. These are 7 discussion questions I would use in class. I would use them to get students to think about X thing, right? It doesn't have to be super long, just explaining to me and your fellow classmates why you would include that. And then if necessary, an MLA entry for the things you post to your Wakelet project, right? If it's something you come up with like an in-class discussion assignment, then you don't need an MLA entry because you're not citing anything, you're coming up with stuff. All right, you also need to include at least one infographic for this assignment. So let's say you're using Get Out as your central text and you're talking about race in America and the way we talk about race. Maybe you would have an infographic about the unequal distribution of wealth in our country, right? I was just reading some stats. Apparently, of the 10 richest people in America, 100% of them are white, right? I'm sure that there's a very skewed uh, um, to statistical makeup of the richest people in America, according by race and gender as well. So you could turn that into an infographic for your project, right? So you need to have at least one infographic. I posted a couple good programs here. These are both free. You might have to sign up. I can't remember for both of these. I've used both of these. They're both, I've tested them. They're very easy to use. Even on your cell phones, they should be manageable. But Pictochart and Easily. If you want to use something else, that's totally fine too. Up to you. If you're really stuck, just come up with some kind of chart or pie graph or something. But these are more fun to use. So you need to have at least one infographic. This is just to get you to think about organizing and presenting information different ways. A couple other things, the structure, there, as I know here, a few hard and fast rules for the structure of this project. You can um, present it in different ways. And I'm going to put a couple samples up on Canvas so you can take a look at what people have done in previous semesters. But you want to think about this logically. I would think it would look much like your Wakelet project in week 14, where you have like summary and then background material and then related readings and then maybe class activities, something like that, right? It should make sense if people are going through it. Imagine, and you will be sharing this as your final exam project is to share this and discuss it. So you will be sharing this publicly with your colleagues. So think about that when you're putting together. You should have a title page, which for Wakelet will be that image at the top. And oh yeah, you need to have at least 8 items. Okay, so that's more than what we did in week 14. In week 14, I asked you to come up with um, 4 items, right? So 4 supplementary text that you found. In this one, I guess 5 because you wrote a summary too, right? In this one, you'll have more. So you'll have basically the same, right? Some background stuff, some related readings, and then I've given you some example of things you can do. So here's what you must include, right? Title page with graphics. That's just the picture at the top. At least one infographic, as I mentioned before. That counts as one of your 8 items, the infographic. Related readings, you should must have some related readings. And these could be the ones you use in your final paper. Probably will be, right? Why not? Some in-class activities and a summary, right? And again, as I note here, you can cut and paste this material from your essay, not from Wikipedia or something, but you could use the same summary that you write for your paper. You could just put that in your Wakelet project as well, right? Because remember, in your paper, you're going to want to summarize your central text as well. So these are things you must have. So that's already one infographic, at least 2 related readings. So that's 3 things. A summary 4. So that's already 4 items, and then some class activities, maybe an interview with the author or the creator or whatever. So it's 8 items sounds like a lot, but it's not really. And here's some ideas for classroom activities that you can include, right? Character chart, sample close reading of one scene or image or passage from it, discussion questions, a game, quiz. I love to give quizzes in class, so you could just copy that idea. Reviews, classroom exercises, that's just a broad, whatever you can think of. So whatever, you could come up with something more creative. You could totally get fun with this. There are programs online where you can make Jeopardy games, where you can make different kinds of games like that. So if you want to get creative, please, by all means, do. You're going to be sharing this with your peers, so why not have a little fun with it? Okay, so that's what this looks like. So basically, this is helping you. You can use all the stuff that you researched for essay number 4 and put it into this, right? And it's going to help you organize some of your information for that paper, because you can come up with MLA entries too, so you get to practice that a few times. Okay, so that's the study guide. Please do email me if you have any questions or concerns. The final draft is due on May 13th. But you'll be sharing it before then for your final exam, so don't leave it until May 12th. I'll have another video for the final exam, which I'll post pretty soon. But until then, please start thinking about this. You might want to start, after week 14 and you learn how to use Wakelet a bit, you might want to start another project right away for your study guide and just start slotting things in so you don't lose them, right? That's kind of what I'm hoping you get out of this project is learning how to use a curation tool like this to help you organize information for a project, right? Because I don't know about you, but oftentimes when I'm working on a research, I used to, when I was, I've come up with strategies for this, but when I was in my undergrad, I'd go do research for a project, I'd find great sources, and I'd lose them, right? I forget to save them or whatever, and I'd close the tab and forget it, and I could never find it again. That happened to me a number of times, and it was frustrating. So it's important to use a tool like this or take notes or something to help you remember some of the research you find and help you organize it too. Okay, so that's it for now. If you have any questions or concerns, email me. I'm always around. Okay, goodbye.